Greetings everyone, this is another Horus Heresy battle report. This is a take and hold battle between the Space Wolves and the Imperial Fists at 1500 points. This is just a quick pickup game, no campaign rules involved, though we did use the missions from the Siege of Cathonia book. Sorry for the delays, but real life has gotten in the way of my gaming lately. A quick review for those who don't know about the take and hold mission. We're back down to only 2 objectives. Each player deploys as an objective somewhere in their opponent's deployment zone. As normal, it has to be at least 6 inches or more from any table edge. If you control the objectives at the end of your player turn, you get 1 victory point for holding 1 objective, or 3 victory points for holding both objectives. Remember, only line troops and other units specifically mentioned in their rules can control an objective. Just about anything else can contest the objective. Standard secondary objectives from the campaign book are also used, and the game ends after 4 turns. We were able to use the reserve rules, but Imperial Fists won the strategic advantage and decided against night fighting. We went with simple Dawn of War deployments, which are 12-inch deployment zones along the long edge. So just a warning, the day the video was shot there was a story event, so there's lots of background noise again, sorry. And this time I only used a single camera for this particular game, just for practice's sake. So this is going to be an interesting Space Wolf list. It's actually an armored spearhead. So we have Proteus Land Raider with regular Cataphract Terminators, 2 Lightning Claws, 1 Power Fist, 1 Chain Fist, and the Sergeant with a Power Sword. A squad of Slayers with another Prometheus Land Raider, 1 Sakaran. 1 Sakaran Venerator, he's going to be my headquarters, and 1 squad of Stalkers riding a Rhino, and that's going to be my army list at 1500 points. Okay, Mr. Logan, would you like to describe your army?
My army consists of a Praetor in tactical dreadnought armor, Cataphracti. The next 2 squads are Terminators and the other one, Tardis armor, followed by heavy tanks like the Sakaran tank here, Vindicator.
And the other Vindicator. Are you squadroning the Vindicators, or are they going to be separate?
They're going to separate. They deploy at the same time.
If they're a squadron, they have to stay within 4. If you take them as separate units, you can deploy them however you want.
Don't count on that.
So here's our deployment. Venerator here, Stalkers in the Rhino, Sakaran, Slayers in the Land Raider, and Terminators in the Land Raider. Over on the other side, we've got the Sakaran hiding in the ruins, the Vindicator with the Demolisher Cannon hiding beside it. Over there we have the other Vindicator and a squad of 10 Terminators. And 1 squad of Terminators is hiding in Deep Strike. And that's our deployment zone. Oh, they're on the... I'm going to attempt to seize the initiative. I will fail, so it'll be Imperial Fist turn 1. As usual. So, this completed their move. Sakaran pivoted on the spot. The Vindicator with Demolisher Cannon moved at cruising speed to get out of sight of my Venerator. The other one moved only 6 inches, so he's still able to shoot. But the Terminators did not move, they're just staying in cover. So Imperial Fist shooting, that Vindicator there with the funny little laser cannons, he managed to immobilize my Sakaran and put a damage on him. And the Sakaran over here took a shot at and managed to damage my Land Raider over here. Space Wolf, turn 1, movement phase. The Stalkers, Rhino, ran up there, hiding behind cover. My Venerator is gunned down to peek through the building to the Vindicator. He's immobilized. He's not going to be able to do anything for this turn. The Proteus Land Raider moved over 6, so that he's got shots at the Spartan. And this one moved over, so he's got shot at the Vindicator. And now we're just waiting for my opponent to come back so we can do the shooting. So, my Sakaran Venerator, instead of hitting, he rolled double 1s, which gives him the heat thing. Fortunately, as a vehicle, I rolled to see whether or not I damaged him, and no, I did not. The Sakaran fired at the Vindicator and managed to do a hull point and shake the crew, so it's only snapshots for that Vindicator this turn. This Land Raider took a shot at this Vindicator, hit only once and failed to penetrate. The other Land Raider took a shot at the Sakaran and managed to shake him, as well as taking off the hull point. That's it for the end of turn 2, or turn 1, going on to turn 2. Imperial Fist turn 2, his Terminator squad arrived, and they arrived 1 inch from the side of the Sakaran. I'm not looking forward to that. The only other real significant movement was he moved the Vindicator to get slightly better line of sight to this Land Raider. And that's it. And remember, the other Vindicator is shaken, he only gets snapshots. Okay, so combination of shooting and assault. You'll notice I'm missing a Sakaran. The Terminator's deep struck, shot in the side, did not do any damage, so I charged him. 10 chain fists against armor 12, doesn't last very long. That many attacks, of course, he rolled a penetrating hit and a 6, and made my poor Sakaran explode. The explosion shook my Venerator and took a hull point off him. The only other significant shooting was way over here. The Sakaran managed to take another point off this Proteus Land Raider. Going on to Space Wolf turn 2. Taken effect. Okay, so Space Wolves had to do some fancy maneuvering. Moved the Venerator over here, moved the Rhino over here to act as sort of a stopgap, and we've unloaded all my Stalkers over here. This Land Raider started coming back and unloaded the Slayers who ran forward. And finally, this Land Raider moved so that he's out of line of sight of the Sakaran, but still has line of sight to the Vindicator.
The Vindicator will then have sight.
Anyway, Space Wolf shooting turn. My Land Raider managed to do 1 glancing hit because of the cover. He made a save. Over here, the Slayers and the Stalkers both fired on the Terminator, did nothing. Even the Venerator with its heavy bolters did nothing. The Land Raider, 4 last cannon shots and 4 heavy bolter shots. I managed to take out 4 of the Terminators. Unfortunately, they still passed their test. I can't guarantee anything next week. I'm already got stuff planned.
I'll be here.
So,
we can always pair. Worst case scenario, we can always pair down.
Yeah, my Slayers went and charged the Terminators. I managed to kill 1 with a Thunder Hammer, but then I lost 5, failed my leadership test, ran off the board, or got run down, depending on how you want to look at it.
I'm not sure I can make
that's the end of turn 2. So the Imperial Fist Terminators are going to start heading toward the objective that they were supposed to capture. I used the Prey Never Escapes, but unfortunately they did. So I wasn't able to catch up to the charge. These 2 pivoted around enough so that they can get shots on my Land Raider. However, it's still going to get a cover save. And the last Vindicator had to move over about 6 inches and pivot to get a shot on the side of this Land Raider. So let's see what happens in shooting. Activation here. So over here, Vindicator and Sakaran shot at. Managed to do another hull point and damage 1 of my lasers on that.
How terrible.
That Vindicator took side shot at this Land Raider. Thankfully I evaded and discounted the wound. The Terminators opened fire on my Stalkers and managed to kill 3. Fortunately, these guys passed their command test, and that's the end of shooting. Did you want to declare a charge on them, or do you want to continue going for the prize? It's turn 3. Game ends turn 4. So,
I'm going to go after your infantry. What the hell? I'll probably lose them.
are you sure you want to do that?
No.
Because that's victory points.
Yeah, that's victory points.
If you go that way, you're not going to make it back in time.
No. So it's
And chances are I'm going to charge you at some point anyway.
it's quite clear you have the what's that number of advantage? Oh,
Numerical advantage?
yes.
Yes, against
3.
invulnerable 5, armor 2. I'm not going to do that much. We've already proven that. It's going to come down to shooting.
Yeah, and that's what I can beat you at.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to stay still then?
I'm going to be moving on to another target. What about your
So, Space Wolf movement phase.
reaction?
Generator has come back down here. Turn to shoot at him. My Slayers have advanced within an inch or to an inch away. My Rhino's coming up behind to offer some fire support. He's not moving at all.
Doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. This one's moved forward to disembark the Terminators finally. So the
They're all
Terminators
gone
are
away. They
facing
got taken
here.
away by the war.
And that's it for movement for Space Wolves turn 3. So the Imperial Fist charge reaction, they've charged into me because I moved within 10 inches. They will count as charging. However, I have counter charge, so I'm still going to get the same number of attacks regardless.
Yep. Really on the war.
So the Venerator took 2 shots at that Vindicator and made him explode. The reason you're only seeing the top half isn't because he exploded, it's because Graham's working on the model.
Yeah, I gotta work on the model all day.
Over here, this Land Raider took 2 shots at the Vindicator hiding in the ruins, and wouldn't you know it, I rolled Snake Eyes. The other cannon is damaged, so I couldn't shoot it. The heavy bolter's not going to do anything to anyone. And because
Yeah, he's got
that Vindicator
equals lately.
exploded, this guy has no one to shoot at because the Terminators charged into my Slayers. It's not fair. So turn 3, close combat. You can see the Slayers didn't do much. The important thing is they held and kept the Terminators locked in hand-to-hand combat. On this side, we wrecked the Vindicator and destroyed in an explosion the Sakaran. Fortunately, none of the Terminators got wounded by that. We did take a wound coming in from the bolters from the Sakaran. Yeah. So, the Imperial Fist movement phase consists of nothing. The Imperial Fist shooting phase consists of nothing. All we have for turn 4 for the Imperial Fist is the continuation of this combat. The question is, will the Terminators take them out this turn? Or will the Wolves survive long enough for take them down? So after some dismal rolling from both sides, I've never seen the Fist or the Space Wolves roll so poorly. The Space Wolves lost 2 Slayers, the Imperial Fist lost nothing, but the remaining person in the Space Wolf squad is the Sergeant, and he passed on a roll of 6, or less than 6. That's the end of the Imperial Fist turn 4, and the last turn of the Imperial Fist. Space Wolves movement turn. Vindicator pivoted enough to be able to shoot at that ruin. Land Raider turns so he can direct all weapons in, and same with this Land Raider. The Terminators, there's no point moving them any closer, they're too far away to participate anymore. So we're going to have a shooting phase of the 2 Land Raiders and this Caesarian Venerator into the ruins, and a continuation of this combat, and that'll be it for turn 4 for Space Wolves. So, Space Wolf shooting turn. 1, 2, 2 Land Raiders and the Venerator all open fired on this squad in the ruins. When the smoke cleared, 5 Terminators dead. When they went and made their morale test, they actually failed it with the Praetor in the squad. No! They stopped 2 inches from the table edge. So close. But they count as falling back. They count as destroyed for this game because it's turn 4. So, after all that, the sergeant of the Slayers was killed, but he managed to swing and hit and kill one of the other Terminators as well. So the only survivor after, what was that, 3 turns? 4 turns of close combat? 4 turns of close combat, the terrorist sergeant. However, he did not manage to accomplish his objective of grabbing
But he
the
probably win a
base,
tail at this.
but he can brag that he survived. He's the only unit on the table for the Imperial Fist. The rest are fleeing or destroyed. So, hero of the match for Imperial Fist, it's gotta be this terrorist sergeant.
Okay.
Rereading the mission rules, I discovered we messed up. Victory points were supposed to be awarded at the end of each player's turn. At no time did the Space Wolves have their line infantry out of their vehicles and within 3 inches of any of the objectives. Imperial Fist, meanwhile, using Pride of Legion, had a squad of Terminators at their side on their objective all game. Yes, the Terminators did run away in the Space Wolves' turn 4, but that was after the Fists scored their 4th point in their turn 4. This is a good example of why you need to read the mission objectives carefully. Wolves had the Fist down to 1 model on the table, and even if I had destroyed that 1 Terminator in the last turn, the damage was already done. They already had their 4 points. For the review, Space Wolves doing an armored spearhead formation was kind of strange, but it was fun. I just needed to remember to pull my line troops out of the vehicles in turn 1 and have somebody guarding an objective in my deployment zone. I was amazed at how poorly my shooting was doing with all those vehicles, but we finally started doing significant damage in the last 2 turns of the game. Would I use the armored spearhead again? I think so. I would have preferred to use it in a larger game, though, I think. I really wanted more infantry, but the problem with this is you have to have another vehicle for transporting any infantry in this game. I could possibly have used a Dreadnought, I'm not sure. The Imperial Fist list once again took a Praetor when the Pride of the Legion Rite of War. His Vindicators were tougher than expected, but again, the Fist's own vehicle shooting was very poor, just like mine. The real threat was, once again, the Terminators. I still think he should break up at least one of his Terminator squads into 2 5-man squads rather than keeping just 2 Terminator squads. He really does need more squads to capture more objectives. Technically, the Imperial Fist was illegal for having too many heavy choices, but we didn't realize that until after the game, and it was still fun to play against. That's it for this battle report. I'm afraid I'm going to be busy for a bit, so I don't know when the next report will be. In the meantime, here's hoping your dice roll well and your games are fun. Take care, everyone.